Hello, I am Bethany Warnches, real estate agent with Addison Jones, and you are watching Tuesday Talks with Bethany, where I answer real estate FAQs. Today is going to be part 3 of a 3-part series that I was calling What's Going On in the Market. So what I've been doing is taking a webinar from Dr. Mark Epley at the School of Real Estate in UW-Madison and breaking it down for you to help you better understand what's going on in the market. Why have prices risen? Why is there a shortage of inventory? So today I am going to cover the topics pandemic migration as well as generational mobility. So let's start with pandemic migration. This is something that many of you probably already have an idea about. So when the pandemic hit, people started to leave bigger cities and move out to more rural areas. So there was 2 main reasons this happened. One, people didn't want to be on top of each other anymore. They wanted to have less dense areas and have more space. They wanted to get away from people. The other reason is because the work from home culture started. So if you can work from home and you don't have to live 10 minutes from your office or 20 minutes from your office, why not live where you want to live? You can live anywhere. If you're an hour from your office, if you're in a different state and you can still work, cool. Go live where you want to live. So we can see that those 2 things drove people out of the bigger cities. And then it drove them into more rural areas. So first of all, when you think about the country, you realize that there's not as many houses to begin with than are in the city. So there already is this, more shortage of inventory, slim pickings in the rural areas. And then there is this mass exodus out of the big cities to this place that already has a shortage of inventory. And so that drives up prices. There was movement out of Milwaukee, Madison, Eau Claire, La Crosse to those surrounding rural areas. So prices drove up. And really, when you think about Fond du Lac and its location, we're this central location where there's Milwaukee and Madison and Green Bay we can all get to in around an hour. So you can see why someone would maybe want to come to Fond du Lac and why prices have driven up. Next, I'm going to talk about generational mobility. So I'm going to talk about 3 different generations here, and that would be the baby boomers, the silent generation, and the millennials. So baby boomers bought their houses years ago, and what the baby boomers are known for is buying their houses and staying in them. In fact, since 1988, 1 in 20 households are being sold each year. So you can see there's not a lot of turnaround there. The baby boomers are finally starting to consider alternatives around age 75 out of necessity. So you can see with them holding onto their houses for so long, it just doesn't create a lot of opportunity for other people to buy their houses. Next is the silent generation. That is our oldest generation right now. And really there isn't that many of them. So when their houses become available, it doesn't really affect the market much because there's just not that many coming onto market from them. And last of all, the millennial generation. So in 2020, in the US, the average age of a first-time homebuyer was 33 years old. Now, the millennial generation is going to hit that 33 mark in the next 5 to 7 years here. And the millennial generation is the biggest generation. So there's going to be a big push of all these people being first-time home buyers, and then there's just this shortage of inventory already. So you can see how that would drive prices up. So baby boomers, we need your houses. So thank you for joining me these past 3 weeks. And if you want to go back and watch part 1 and part 2 of this series as well, feel free to do that. And I hope it has helped you better understand what is going on in this market, why there is a shortage of inventory, why prices are driving up. And then this wraps up this series, and you can feel free to join me next week where I am going to talk about selling your home with pets.